Yo, and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. Happy election day to you. And yeah, it's Tuesday, it's election day. Wow. Hopefully you're gonna go out and vote today. No, this is not gonna be a political video. I am gonna talk about who I'm voting for, but not in a political sense. But the Veterans Committee ballot came out yesterday. There were 8 names on it. I want to discuss who I would vote for if I had 3 votes like the rest of the 16 members of the committee. And it's a really good ballot, actually. It's very stacked, a lot of names you would expect to be on this ballot. I know a lot of you are disappointed that I'm not going to be talking about politics. Just kidding. I do have some incredibly strong opinions about a lot of things going on in our country today, but this is not the platform for that. So you will not get to hear those here. In fact, you may not get to hear those ever. But I am going to show you, turn this around, show you guys who's on the ballot, what I think about their chances of getting in, and who I would vote for. So hang on one second. All right, guys. So yeah, the Veterans Committee ballot, the ERA Committee ballot is what they really call it. I still call it the old Veterans Committee. It consists of 8 players this year. Really stacked ballot. You can see most of the guys here that are on that ballot. I'm missing, actually, and I'll talk about him first, Albert Belle. I don't have any Albert Belle autographs. I don't know why. Just never thought he was Hall of Fame worthy in terms of will he actually get in. Do I think statistically, he was an absolute beast in the 90s. He's kind of in that category of Albert Belle, Manny Ramirez, Manny a little bit later, obviously. And then you had, actually not much later for Manny Ramirez, Juan Gonzalez, kind of these guys that are all in that same era, playing 13, 14 years-ish. And Manny played longer, Albert played a little bit less, but put up really good numbers, all suspected to be tainted numbers. And so I just kind of thought, well, those guys are just not going to get in that group of players. And so I never picked up anything with Albert Belle on it, although I might. Obviously, if he gets in, I will. But I don't think he will. And then you've got the crime dog, Fred McGriff. Absolute, again, just amazing hitter. Very consistent hitter is what I would call about Fred McGriff. And he was one of those guys that, man, I always watched him and just thought, yeah, he was an RBI machine. Really, really amazing career. Just missed 500 home runs. Don Mattingly, MVP, just, batting title. I don't know. I'll get to him. Well, I'll talk to him about him now. Mattingly, to me, is not a Hall of Famer. He's a very, very good player. And certainly for the Yankees, a great, all-time great. But overall, I just didn't think he did it long enough. I think he did it, and he wasn't so great. He wasn't Mike Trout great, where he was winning MVPs every year, or should have won MVP. Mike Trout could win MVP every year. He wasn't, Koufax, Trout type dominant during his years. And granted, injuries derailed his career, but that happens to a lot of players. So, but Don Mattingly is certainly a great player. Just, I don't think he'll get in the Hall of Fame. Same with this guy, Dale Murphy, 2-time MVP, back-to-back, as a matter of fact. Actually got this myself from Dale Murphy at the 2014 National. He was one of the signers. So I got this signed. I like Dale Murphy, great guy, but it's not the Great Guy Hall of Fame. He had less than 400 home runs in his career. Again, very short window of greatness, but not great, where you just were blown away by it. So there's that. Palmeiro is probably the hardest case to me that there is. If you're a voter, did Palmeiro do it clean? Probably not. Did he have amazing stats nonetheless? Yes. And so 500 home runs, 3,000 hits. Yeah. So then you got Mr. Schilling. This is his 88 Donruss rookie card. Got that last year after he didn't get in. These went down a lot once he didn't get in. And I knew he was going to be on this veterans ballot, or highly suspected. I'd be shocked if he wasn't on this veterans ballot, and he is. Like Frank said this in his video, no one's done more to not get in the Hall of Fame than Curt Schilling. Just with his post-career, word smithing that he's been doing. Barry Bonds and Clemens, they kind of go hand in hand, right? I mean, it's hard to talk about that era without talking about these two. You could argue easily they're the best hitter and pitcher of all time. That could be an argument you could make. But the next sentence out of everyone's mouth is they didn't do it clean. And I get it. I really get it. I've talked ad nauseum on this channel about why I overlook that is probably the right word. I don't condone it. But people say, well, if you overlook it, you're really condoning it. Look, I didn't make the rules up then. I wasn't in charge of baseball. But I loved watching Roger Clemens pitch and Barry Bonds hit. So that's what I can tell you, And so when I look at these 8 guys, if you include Albert Belle, who's not pictured here, each committee member gets 3 votes. Who would I vote for? Well, it's actually pretty easy for me. I would really want to vote for 4. Actually, I think 5 of these guys are Hall of Famers. I think Palmeiro is a Hall of Famer and should be in the Hall of Fame. So if I had enough votes, I would vote for Palmeiro. And I would vote for Schilling if I could. But if I only had 3 votes, because I really think McGriff is the only one that's going to get in this year, I would vote for McGriff to make sure that wrong is righted, because he should have gotten in during his eligibility on the writer's ballot. So McGriff would be a vote. Bonds and Clemens would be my other 2 votes, just because of their career. So that would be my 3 votes. If I had more, I'd vote for Schilling and Palmeiro. I would not vote for Murphy or Mattingly or Bell. So that's my ballot. Hey, go make your voice heard today in the real ballot that does matter for the future of our country. And I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you soon. Keep collecting.